Now, Registrar of the Scholarship Secretariat, Kingsley Ajimang, says some claims by disgruntled medical students in Cuba are exaggerated. Mr. Ajimang says specifically about the complaints of poor quality of food being served the students, that they are due to cultural differences which make these dishes unfamiliar. Mr. Ajimang spoke exclusively to me as students can now confirm that their arrears of monthly stipends, majority at least, have been paid following numerous complaints on social and traditional media. He says the students have not been neglected.
Okay, so let's put it in perspective. You know, Cuba is a communist society with a lot of restrictions. International transfers take a lot of time, and students, like since 1960, will be embarking to Cuba for this medical exchange program. The practice has always been to be paying within a quarter. Till I think between 2013 and 2016, or 2009 and 2016, where the handing over notes that I received from my predecessor showed a stipend outstanding of about 10 months, and also showed that tuition had not been paid for 2 consecutive academic years. So that was the situation. Fast forward, from 2017 upwards, all outstandings were cleared, and students are paid every quarter. There are now 2 categories of students in Cuba. We have GMPC-sponsored students, and we have the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat-sponsored students. Our students I can speak to. So our students embarked in April last year, and as the practice has been, we paid them every quarter. Beginning of the year, we wired money for the first quarter. It took a lot of time before it got to Cuba. It is a normal practice. There are instances where you do transfers. It says as Ghana International Bank in London for a lot of verifications because of the various restrictions that we have in Cuba. So the money was transferred about 2 months ago. Mission received it last week and credited the students' account last week. So in crediting students' account, too takes a bit of time, especially when mission is understaffed. When I say mission, Ghana mission in Cuba, Havana. So payments went for the first quarter. So we can put on record that students on Government of Ghana sponsor students. The deal that Dr. Alhaji Bahomia brokered for the less privileged community, 76 of them, have been paid up to 31st March. And a letter from the Havana mission is here to confirm that. We have started the process, as I speak with you now, for second quarter and third quarter. There's a request at the Bank of Ghana to make transfer. Bank of Ghana will, within 48 hours or 72 hours, will effect transfer. It may take about two weeks to get to Cuba. So it means that we've started early. We pay in quarterly in arrears. So touch wood, latest by end of month, the second quarter, and even the third quarter would have been paid. So obviously, there's a government that takes the welfare of its citizenry when they take them out for training. We hold them in high esteem. It can never be true that students have been neglected. I mean, let me express my condolence to the family of the deceased, the Erasmus family. Erasmus was not one of our sponsored students, and the information from the diplomatic cable indicates that he had a pre-existing medical condition of which I can't disclose, and that escalated and it led to his death. I cannot speak for the GMPC because I know Dominic is doing his own speaking to the media, speak to the media kind of, but definitely it cannot be true that students have been sent for 14 months and they've been neglected.
When I received this voice note I referred to earlier, the student says that indeed he had arrears of about 7 months, and it was 5 of those months were paid at a go yesterday. So when you say that it was advanced quarterly, he disputes it flatly.
No, I'm not saying they are paid in advance. What I said, we pay quarterly.
When I said advanced, I mean
okay.
Are advanced quarterly.
Yes, so we advance quarterly in arrears. What it means is that there's an arrangement where we pay at the end of the quarter. However, depending on availability of funds, we're able to even pay ahead of the quarter, like what is going to happen in this second quarter and the third quarter.
So there are more funds available now?
Yes, no, funds has always been available.
Not available in the past?
No, funds have always been available, because if students have been paid up to 31st March, it means that first quarter has been cleared. First quarter of this year has been cleared. Second quarter.
Just first quarter they were owed. They were owed up to 7-8 months in some cases.
I don't know which kind of students you are referring to. If this is Ghana Scholarship Secretariat sponsored students, then I'm saying to you that Ghana Scholarship Secretariat sponsored students have been paid up to 31st March 2021. And that funds for the fourth quarter was also transferred. But you see, there are instances when there are government transitions. Mission staff, as I speak with you now, the ambassador is in Ghana here. The deputy ambassador is also in Ghana here. In Cuba, for instance, there was a peculiar issue about one of the head of chancery who finished, he's a civil servant, public servant, who completed her term, and I think came back in Ghana somewhere in November, December, thereabout. We don't recruit for the foreign missions. They go through a process of the foreign affairs. So I could say that maybe there was a gap in terms of human resource to be able to work with funds that have been transferred. Because if ambassadors were called and deputy ambassadors were called 2 months to the election, as it has been the practice, and a key public servant also finish her term and money gets to the mission, signatories and things, those to work on will take a bit of time. So even though I've not heard a voice, but I do also dispute that there could have been maybe some outstandings getting to the latter part of the quarter.
If that's indeed the case, why did we not see that, if I'm going by your words, in 2009, when, there was a change in government, why were there no delays at the time, as you told me?
Who says there were no delays?
You said at the beginning of the conversation that there were no delays until the period 2009 to 2016.
No.
Came to me this.
I just took a year to start with, where there were possible transitions, and I said to you that between 2009, when I took over from 2017, the handing over notes that I received, I have not received handing over notes preceding 2009, so I can't speak to it.
Oh, I was under the impression when you were saying.
Oh, then it was a wrong impression.
They were always paid until 2009 to 2016. Then that would mean that in the years in the prior to 2009.
No, I do not have the handing over notes preceding 2009. I have post of 2009.
So there was a delay because of the change in government.
Yeah, then we continue the transitions and things that gets to the fourth quarter. Everybody that is in public service knows that the fourth quarter of every election year comes with a bit of hitches, and even the first quarter, when either there's a change of government or there's continuation, it comes with a bit of hitches, and there could be delays. So we even issued a letter to all our missions that first quarter was likely to delay because of transition. And let's not forget that at the time we didn't even have a finance minister at the time. That was when
the budget had been read in the previous year for the first quarter
yes,
of this year.
Yes.
Which means that it's better.
Yes, but you see, appropriation is quite different. Okay, so usually the budgets are read for the whole year, but appropriation is for the first quarter, 31st March. So I have my spent. Let's say if it's 200 million approved, but releases of budgets according to quarter differs. Okay, it's not a cast in stone where maybe you have to divide your whole approval for the year by 4, and it goes by at every quarter you have to have a fourth of it. No, it doesn't work like that. So for instance, in the first quarter, funds that were released was very, very, very little to take care of some few teething and very critical issues. In second quarter, huge amounts were released. That is how come we are even able to pay second quarter and third quarter. So by practice or by convention, what it means is that second quarter is going to be paid early, even though we are within the same second quarter. We are not waiting to the end of the quarter, which is June. And third quarter is also going to be paid, which means that third quarter is going to be paid in advance in terms of the students' stipend. It's going to be paid in advance. So I just want us to be very clear that we have not neglected our students.
I just want to know, because earlier you were saying that you issued a circular to all the missions that first quarter payments would delay.
Yes.
Because you were well aware of the fact that because of the
transition
government, there may be difficulties.
Yes.
If you had envisioned that, why didn't you just send the monies ahead of time?
No, but I've clearly demonstrated to you the constraints that comes with public financial management practices. It is not, and when the fiscal year ends, we have to have budget approvals. Okay, we shouldn't forget that even though budgets were approved last year, that's in the fourth quarter of the year, the budget was only up to 31st March.
Couldn't you have factored into your budget that, look, even I'm not even talking about the 2021 budget. I'm talking about the 2020 budget. Couldn't we have foreseen that, look, it's going to be difficult to pay monies to these students who are depending on it? So let's factor all of that, justify it, and place it in the budget for 2020. Pay all the monies ahead by so that nobody is in trouble. Okay, so the dichotomy is that normal fiscal year starts from January to December, but academic year starts in September. So once you plan for 4 quarters in a normal fiscal year, we are doing 5 quarters in a normal fiscal year. All these things are factored. But you see, transitions are transitions. Okay, transitions are transitions. And that is the path, that's the collective path that the majority of Ghanaians have ascribed to, democracy. It comes with features. For instance, Article 71. Cost someone's life.
Yeah, no, they didn't cost someone's life. For instance, Article 71 holders had their appointment come to a halt on the night of 6 January. Okay. So there's a new reappointment, and it has to go through a lot of processes, through nomination, vetting, this. That is the cost that comes with democracy. Okay, so these are some of the hitches that you are likely to suffer if you are in the public service. GMPs is a corporation; they are on their own. They may have their own systems of budgeting, but this is the government's own. Okay, the government, we are aware. First quarter of, when the appropriations are, they go through. Don't forget that even in Parliament there was a bit of drama. If that
was for the
I'm coming. Yes, but it's the same. It's the whole year. The first quarter is is one of the 4 quarters.
It didn't. But what I'm saying is that the drama did not affect the spend up to 31st March. It was the spend from 1st.
Yes, and I'm saying that. Everybody by experience, unless maybe you want to be naive about public service, you will know that first quarter are hard quarters, especially when there's transition. So government revenues and government releases may not be equal to other quarters. It is a normal practice. Okay, so for instance, if in the second quarter I've received 10 times of what I received in the first quarter, then it shows that this is a clear testimony of how funds are applied. Okay, so first quarter was a challenge. But it's the same government that when COVID was at its crescendo, when Cuba was under lockdown, are you aware that we had to procure things to the tune of almost 1.5 million necessaries, toiletries, including sanitary parts, because even though they had their stipends, you could not find some to buy. We shipped these things to students in Cuba. So can this be seen as a government that is not sensitive to the needs of students? It cannot be, because when it mattered most, toiletries and other things were sent to them to the tune of 1.5 garage toilet, everything that they needed to survive on during the periods of lockdown. This same government has demonstrated faith with these 76 students by paying them their stipends, and even second quarter, third quarter, there's high indication that these quarters are going to pay in advance. So it cannot be a fact.
Right. Finally, one of these students that I spoke to insists that the challenges that they face do not end with stipends. They say that their accommodation is questionable in a lot of cases. They talk about how the food they are fed is also not the best in a number of cases. Is the Scholarship Secretariat willing to look into these issues?
My brother, you see, cultural shift or cultural change, it's not an easy thing to be able to navigate your way through. It's the same meals that students globally, students from South Africa, Angola, Gambia, Nigeria, all over. So I can understand the Ghanaian students, especially those who have not lived there for long. Cuba is not alien to Ghanaian students. I mean, we've been going to Cuba for this exchange program for all these years. Our dieting is quite different. It may not be, there's this issue I heard about black beans or something like that. Black beans is a staple in the Caribbean. So if you're a Ghanaian student going, you're giving black beans to eat, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are being fed wrongly. We've all been to high schools before. We've all been to university public accommodations before. They are definitely may not be as our homes may be. Even though, in all humility, in some instances, they could be better than our homes. But when we draw the general conclusion that, but there's a Ghana mission in Havana that takes care of the welfare of this, or has been taking care of the welfare of students.
Before you get to the Ghana mission, is it your position then that the students' claims or the students' concerns are unfounded? Are you saying that?
I mean, the word unfounded, I wouldn't ascribe to. What I would say that maybe they are being heightened. Do you get it? Maybe their claims have been exaggerated because yes, because before Bill Clinton's before, you've been a student before. You know what it is. You've been a student before when you want to make a particular case. I'm saying that where there are issues that needs to be looked into. The Ghana mission in Havana was not established by the Akufo-Addo government. It's been there since Nkrumah's time. And they've been handling students' welfare all these years. So if there are issues, definitely the mission will bring it up. And we'll raise it with the Cuban embassy here, which is a very responsive mission. We'll raise it here. If there are serious outliners, I'm just saying that there could be one or two outliners, I mean, which we have to try and cope with. But if they get to the extreme where it becomes unbearable for human habitation, I don't think the Ghana mission in Havana will sit on unconcerned. No, because the more or less, they are the parents of these Ghanaian students in Havana. You and I, we're not there or are not there. We can't know exactly what it is.
But we've seen pictures. I have seen pictures of something that looks like rice and something that looks like chicken, and I won't eat. Have you seen those pictures?
No, you won't eat. Are you saying that? Can you therefore conclude that they are unwholesome?
But have you seen the pictures?
No, I'm saying that. Can you therefore conclude that they are unwholesome?
My question is, have you seen the pictures?
No, I have not seen that. We have seen the pictures. But if you say that you will not consume, it is very relative.
No, I understand.
Because you see, you can't judge a book by its cover. And the sweetness of the pudding is always in the eating. Okay? It may not come across as appealing, but you might have enjoyed it. Because you see, the first time I ate Zafi, I'm like, what kind of food is this? But it's a staple that it's something that if you joke with some people, you may receive some slaps. All the point that I'm making is that there's a cultural shift. Even though we give them orientations before they go, but you see, it takes time. Change takes a bit of time. I mean, these are people coming from our sponsor students, coming from deprived communities. Some of them, maybe the first time they ever came to Accra was to pick their visas from the embassies to embark on. That cultural shift is so huge that it takes time. You and I are well traveled. There are instances that when I go to certain countries, I'm unable to eat. I'm unable to eat for the full period of time that I go there. It doesn't mean that the food is no good. I think the emphasis should be on the wholesomeness or otherwise of the food that is being served them. If the food that are being served them are poisonous or are things that are foodstuffs that are going to be inimical to their health, then we have a serious challenge. And I don't think any Ghanaian official will look on, including you and me, will look on for our nephews and nieces to be fed with unwholesome things. And I don't think Cuba, you see, the major contributor to Cuba's economy is this medical tourism training thing. So we can give them the benefit of the doubt that it's not something they will want to joke with. Because
I just want to say that being a supervisory body over the welfare generally over these students, I can't help but say I am surprised that from your office in Ghana, you would all but dismiss a concern that is being raised by students without even the courtesy of saying that, look, we might look into it or we would speak to someone about it. But to say they exaggerate.
No, if you heard me properly, the locus of my phrase was to the fact that we have a welfare mission that is in Cuba, established not by Kingsley Agyeman's led secretariat, established as far back as in Nkrumah's days, that takes care of the welfare of students.
Are they looking into it?
No, they are Ghanaians who will not sit down for their award, because these are students of their awards. They will not sit down for them to be fed from whole something. So when you even use the word, unfounded, I beg to differ by saying that I wouldn't want to go by unfounded, but maybe they are exaggerating. So which one is even better? Unfoundedness and exaggeration. So I'm saying that they might be exaggerating because we've all been students before.
So your point is that if it was not exaggerated, the embassy's welfare office would have picked it up.
Yes, they would have picked it up and they would have used the diplomatic channel and would have known. However, that notwithstanding,